Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Sierra Casher. I'm super excited, and why this thing got me looking super shiny today, y'all. However, I'm super excited about chatting about this book again. Um, I am super excited. So if you want to hear any more about the book I've already reviewed, Professional Troublemaker, you want to stay tuned. Um, I realized how much this book has impacted my life and changed the way that I view things. And as a person who loves to read, I really realized the benefits in reading a book that will help you and challenge you to show up and do the things that you've been wanting to do. And hence me getting on YouTube, sharing. It's been a few days. So hello again. I did get some new glasses. Hello, and a little friend has joined me on my face. However, the show will go on. I will just jump right in. So, I've been reading. I read this book. Me and a friend finished this book, and I really, really, really wanted her to be able to be a part of the video. However, she is preparing to go away, and because she's preparing to go away, I did not want to intrude on that. Because when you're going away to do things, you prepare mentally, you have to prepare emotionally, spiritually, all the things. And so I'm like, hey, it's okay, girl. Do what you got to do. Hopefully one day you will get to meet her on the channel. She was the first, well, maybe the second friend, because I think I encourage all of my friends to read. She's the second friend who was willing to join me. And in joining me, I was like, man, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so thankful for you because I love to read, and to have someone to go through a book with me, process the information with me weekly, and do all the things as far as like, hey girl, this is what I like, this is what I didn't like, this is what resonated with me, this is what came up for me, was very, 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 very helpful for me. In processing the information as I was reading and not getting stuck in just reading a book and just taking in information. Because, we don't just read. I don't know if you know, but I will inform you. We don't just read books just to read books. We read books to learn things and to take action. And whatever resonates or whatever sticks to us, we take that and we use it in our own lives, and then we move on. And another thing is, hello, I want to introduce you to my new sweater. This, I have a light, and the light is hot, y'all. And because the light is hot, I was like, look, I'm going to get me a new sweater. And I found this sweater at the same place I purchased the other sweater, which is Plato's Closet. I may have paid like $8 for this sweater. I absolutely love this sweater. It has no sleeves and it is warm. And I just love it. I love it. I love the black. And then I got my new glasses. These are the other glasses that I had. I just want to talk about the things that are elephants in the room for me. May not be for you, but for me, these are elephants in the room. Because they're new, and you see yourself on camera and you're like, oh girl, you look good in these glasses. Oh girl, you look good in that sweater. So here I am to share this journey with you of sweaters. I am a sweater girl. I don't care if it's summer, fall, winter, spring. All the seasons I will wear a sweater. And I will find me a sweater that I completely adore. And this one has no sleeves. I love it. I like the color because it's black. And it's so comfortable. And it makes me feel all cozy and warm when I'm recording the videos. And I went for sleeveless because it's hot. The light is actually hot, y'all. Have my fan going on this side, and I have my no sleeves on this side. And then, I just look good in it. So why not wear it? All of that to say hello to my new glasses, and hello to a new sweater to my sweater family. It's not to say that I have gotten rid of the other sweater. I will wear that other sweater probably more times than you will see this black one, just because that was my first sweater, and I did not know that I love sweaters that much. You did not come here for this. You came here about the book. But I wanted to acknowledge that so that they can get out of my head and I can move on to what we are actually here for. Okay. So I the other morning, every morning now, I've been trying this new thing, and I'm a pretty disciplined person with things that I want to be disciplined with, because I believe that we don't do anything that we just don't feel like doing. And because I am carving out a new life for myself and my family, based on the growth that I have I guess I have been doing the growth work, in the areas that I have been doing the growth work, I found that I spent a lot of time on social media. And in me spending a lot of time on social media, I was like, man, you got on YouTube in the middle of your social media break. Is that really like I went through this thing of like, hey, you were still on social because I consider YouTube to kind of be social. And building a community is something I've always wanted to do. And I built a community on Facebook before, and I closed it down because I just having internal issues with myself. And then I was like, I'm going to let this community go. And in letting that community go, I realized how much I really adored it. But there was some growth I needed to do. And like I said, we are going to talk about professional troublemaker in that sense, but she talked about community in this book, and she talked about building a squad in this book, and she talked about how detrimental these things are to our growth process and how important that it is for us to have people around us, to have more people around us. I don't know why I'm messing with my hair, but to have people around us who are also growing, who have a growth mindset. And also to she mentions how we are to basically, the concept, she didn't say it this way, but I'm going to put it in my own words. You reap what you sow. And so I am planting new seeds in my relationships, and I'm planting new seeds in communities that I'm in, and I am planting new seeds in myself and my mindset and the way that I think about things. And so I was like, I just have to get back on and tell the people, like, if you haven't noticed, last time I did not have these tabs. And so in processing this book, I'm moving on to a new book for a new area for me. But I was like, man, some good stuff in this book that I need to revisit and process before I move on. And I've moved on to my new book. However, I am still visiting this book in the morning times because I'm like, I'm still revisiting and processing, not revisiting and like reading the entire book again. But I am like making notes and going back to say the things that resonated with me and the things that have been very, very helpful to my process. And I wanted to share some of that with you because I realize sometimes we read books and sometimes we read books. I have a leisure book. I'm reading Cicely Tyson's book Cicely Tyson's book. Don't let me get the title wrong. I do not want to butcher her title. I am listening to her book on Audible, Just As I Am. And I love it. I'm not going to go into that here, but I love Cicely Tyson's book. And that is what I'm reading for leisure. I believe in reading, when I do read, to read books that bring me so much pleasure and that are not necessarily like do the work, internal work, but also just to read, just to be reading and to like learn new words and to have new adjectives and all the things. And so that is one book that's the book that I'm reading for leisure. And so, as I, venture on these books and reading the books and raising my children and carving out this new life for myself and my children and my mindset and being consistent with things, I've realized that, man, it is super important to not just read books, but to take the information and do what is necessary for me and my growth process and where I am. And so here we are. Because y'all, I will talk and talk. So, there was a piece in here that I reread over and I was like, man, she talked about how she was labeled as the responsible one in her family. And I wrote that I was called irresponsible. Like right after high school, I was just doing some of the most outlandish things because I had a lot of things going on, and mentally and emotionally, and just what we call finding ourselves. And in finding myself, this cover is so comfortable, y'all. In finding myself and like trying to find out who this woman is that I want to become, and this girl, because I was very young at this time, still young. However, I was younger and doing lots of things that I had no business doing, but just trying to discover. And in that process, I was called irresponsible by someone that I love dearly. And that was very detrimental to my growth process. But it also was, when I say detrimental, it was detrimental in a way to help me to grow. It was also detrimental as I started to label myself as irresponsible as well. And I was like, no, there's no, like, I took in the information that was given to me. Sierra, you're irresponsible. And I went through some questions and I was like, are you irresponsible? And I was like, well, that's what they said. So maybe I am. So I went inventory. I was like, I have gotten an associate's degree from a military school. I don't think you can be irresponsible to do two things at one time. Because not only did I get my associate's degree at a military school, I also had a commission into the military at a military school. And I was like, that's not true. You had to be responsible at a point to be able to do those two things simultaneously in an accelerated program. And so I was like, oh, this is not true. And so that was the first thing that came up for me that helped me to realize that I was not irresponsible. I was just being labeled that in that season. But as I continued to go on with life, I realized I was like, oh, you're irresponsible with certain things. When it comes to doing things for others, you may be irresponsible. You are not reliable, is what the person was saying, which at that stage in my life, I felt like it was okay for me to be unreliable because I had a lot of things going on mentally and emotionally that I was not processing with a lot of people, that I was not telling a lot of people. The only person at that time that knew was my boyfriend. And I was like, oh, he understands. He was catching hell. I'm gonna be honest. He was catching hell because I did not even know how I had gotten to this place, and these thoughts and these outbursts and all of the things were coming up. And for him to be there with me in that moment, I was like, man, I am grateful for you. So let's move ahead. I that's something that resonated with me, and I want to share that part because I realized sometimes someplace in life you will be called irresponsible. You will be called something that is not necessarily true. And just because someone says it to you doesn't mean that it's true. And sometimes doesn't mean that it's not true. You want to take inventory and you want to, do what is necessary to make that statement false, which is say, hey, if someone was to tell you that you were not beautiful or you were not handsome, man or woman, and say that they were like, oh, you are ugly. You can take that inventory and say, am I ugly? Well, no, I'm not ugly. And then you can go to list the reasons why. That was more, to me, that is very shallow. However, I'll give another example. If someone was to say that you're unreliable, let's use that. And you can say, well, I may be unreliable and I'm going to do the work to become reliable. But you also have to take inventory of what are your boundaries? What can you do for people in this season? What are your realistic, like what expectations do they have of you? And are those expectations realistic? Because sometimes people can say stuff because they want to get a reaction out of us. They want us to do something that is not in us to do, or is not in us to do in that season, or simply you don't have the capacity to do it. And for me, in the season that I was in, I did not have the capacity to be reliable because I wasn't even reliable for myself. I wasn't reliable for myself. From day to day, there was different things that were happening in my life. And from day to day, there was different thoughts that I was having. So I wasn't even reliable for myself. So I definitely could not be reliable for someone else. So that was something that came up. There was another part that came up for me where she says, I'm a recovering giver, meaning I used to be unable to ask for help and receive guilt without feeling like I owed someone. I was like, girl, you better preach, because I have been a recovering giver. I think I am so much better at this. And that is probably subjective. I would have to ask my friends and my husband. However, I had been in a place in my life where I was just giving my time, my energy, my resources, just giving, because I wanted to receive. And I believe that in order to receive, I must give. And I did not have a lot of great boundaries. I did not know that it was safe for me to create boundaries in order for me to protect myself, for me to protect my mental space. I did not have those things. And so now, as I've navigated life, what I have realized in that process, that a lot of the times, pain is the catalyst for change. Pain caused me to create boundaries. Pain caused, like, I did the internal work. I did the internal reflection to say, okay, this is causing me discomfort or dis-ease in my body, in my mind, in my soul. I'm going to do something about it. And what am I going to do? And so that is the reason why I am coming back on video to talk to you about this, because what I realize is that sometimes we don't know what we need to do. And we'll read a book and we're like, oh, this is going to be, well, someone commented on my Instagram one time and she was like, books are like a great escape. I don't read to escape. I love my life. I have so much ease in my life right now. I have so much flow in my life right now. I have so much comfort and love and joy in my life. I don't want to escape this. I do not want to escape my life. I read books so that I can understand the things that I don't understand. So I can know the things that I don't know. So that I can do something about what is coming up in my growth process. If I don't know how to grow a garden, I'm going to read a book about it. I'm going to search YouTube. I prefer to read books, but sometimes I get on YouTube just for the easy access and the quick knowledge. And I think, like, where was I going with that? Where was I going with that? That we read books to obtain knowledge, of to understand the things that we do not know, but then we also use books to help us to process things and to see ourselves and say, oh, well, this is this, and I can use this information to better myself in this area or that area. Or I can take in this information and use it to elevate myself to a new level so that I can be able to assist somebody else, assist my family, and be able to assist myself mentally so that I am not thinking one-sided. And what I mean by that is like, some of this that I've read, like I now have a new perspective for Nigerians because I don't have any Nigerian friends yet. However, she's given me a new perspective, because it's not the complete perspective, because you can't say all Black people are the same. So I don't know that I do not believe that all Nigerians are the same. However, what I am saying is that she has given me a new perspective, and I desire to have me a Nigerian friend, y'all. I do. I shared this story last time. I'm going to share it again. And those who those who hear it and they heed to it, I love you and I adore you and I appreciate you. But she shared. I even wrote it down. In my journal, y'all, because that story, I adore that story. She tells a story about how her friends. Give me just a second. 9 of her girlfriends flew her to and I don't know how to say it. Anguilla, Anguilla. They flew her first class out of the country, okay? And they for 6 days and everything was covered. I absolutely adored that story. The first time what I got out of that story when I shared it here is that she was reaping the benefits of sowing good seeds into the soil of her friends' lives. And when it was the time for her to go on her vacation, for her before her wedding, a bachelorette party, they outpoured. That is what I got the first time. This second go round, when I read the story, I was like, man, how can I do this for a friend? How can I set something up so I can be in a position to be able to do things like this for friends, so I can set up retreats and getaways, or just like staycations at home, so I can pay for my friends to be where they want to be or do what they want to do. And just, I don't have to be there, but I can pay for my friends to go somewhere. And so that struck a lot of things I cannot do that right now. I can pay for a staycation, I can pay for something small at this stage in my life, but I don't have a massive fund saved up to be able to say I can just pay for someone a vacation in, let's say, in Bali, or let's say in Dubai. I don't have those types of funds. And so that made me a little angry. And I was like, why don't you have those types of funds, Sierra? And I was like, man, I don't know. And that was my first response. And then as I keep digging, what I realize is that I haven't had a really great money mindset. I have not had a great money mindset. And I did not realize that money would be able to aid me in doing those types of things. And then when I kept digging a little deeper, y'all, I got sad, because I was like, you felt like money was evil, Sierra. You felt like money is something that you should not have as a mom. You felt like there's so many beliefs, and I'll share one last one. I felt like it was okay for me to be in business, and this is the first time I'm saying this out loud, that it was okay because I'm going to do something about it. That it was okay for me to be in business and make a minimal amount, and that's just going to suffice to say I'm in business. I was pissed off. I was like, okay, that is why I have felt the need to come back to this book to read and see what else comes up for me, because I need another tool to be able to access. And I have been trying to access this money mindset for some years. However, it is tough work, and it will be like, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I do it. And then it gets tough and I'll pull back. Oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. And I'm doing it. It gets tough. I hit something, I hit a wall, and I'm like, okay, you know what? My back is against the wall. I don't know what to do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. My back is against the wall. And I'm like, you know what? Forget it. However, I'm so thankful for her book, for Luvvie Jones' book, The Fear Fighter Manual, The Professional Troublemaker, because it has got me stirred on the inside to not only do something about it and with the information that I've learned from her book, but to keep going, y'all, to keep going. And dig a little deeper and see what my money story is, dig a little deeper and see like exactly what steps I need to take so that I can do the vacations like that. So Luvvie, if you ever, I don't know, I doubt she'll ever watch this video. However, if she ever watches it, girl, you have stirred this Black girl right here. Okay. I was pissed off at you. I was like, wait. So the first time I read it, I was so joyous. I was rejoicing with you. And I was like, yes, her friends can do that for her. But then yesterday when I read it, I was like, man, I don't have the funds to do that for my friends. And I would love to do that for my friends. I would not even just for my friends. I would love to set up a place where women can, like, I don't want to tell y'all that here, but I would love to set up some places for women. That's all I'm going to say. And I not only do I would love to, I will, because Luvvie, girl, you have stirred me. Oh, and then not only did she say that, but she came for the old version of Sierra that used to think that I didn't need anybody. I believed that lie for years. And she said in a space in the book, she shares about how she's gone to the ends of the earth for people, even when they didn't ask her to, even when she was frustrated. And she was like, I don't need anybody. I don't need anyone to do anything for me. Girl, that is a lie. A complete, like, the lie detector has detected a lie. And so, long story short, she went to therapy, and her therapist was able to help her to navigate that and to get her to the place. But she was kind of reflecting on the fact that her friends were doing this for her, and in her friends doing this for her, it helped her to see the place that she used to be. And where she didn't, she was so shocked that she was able to accept this from friends, because she was like, man, I used to be in a place to where I couldn't even accept things from people. And I remember when I was just so, and I mentioned that boyfriend earlier. I was dating this guy, and in this space, I had an amazing best friend. And she was my friend at the time, and we were navigating, both of us were navigating some hard times. But I felt as if I don't need to share this information with her because she has her own thing going on. She was going through her own things in her own life. And I was like, I don't need to share this with her. She has her own things going on. However, what I've learned when I read this and that story came up for me, I was like, had I had a community of people around me, I would not have had to share with that friend who was going through it. I could have shared with these other people in my community. But because I was so wrapped up, not only in this relationship, but I was so wrapped up in not having help and not asking for help, and I don't need nobody, and I got it, and those types of thoughts, I wasn't able to get to the place to accept that I have people, because now I had people around me. Don't get me wrong. I've always had people. I had people around me. I just did not trust myself enough to know that I should trust these people with this information, and they can carry this load for me. And I would not be in this horrific relationship that I'm in if I was able to lean on my friends and share with my friends. That's a whole word. Community, y'all. Community. Two things I learned from that story were that my money mindset is still work that needs to be done there. And then also that community is essential to our growth. I don't care what person, if you're like, I don't want to grow, you still need community. Because it's going to be some days where you don't even, really know what's going to be next for you, or like Like, and it's like sometimes people are looking for blessings, and what they think is going to come from is one way, and God is like, no, I have something totally different set up for you. You're going to meet this person at the grocery store, and that person's going to tell you about this, and they're going to connect you, and y'all are going to be friends, and then blah, 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 blah. And then before you know it, you're a millionaire. And you're like, I met this lady, I don't know, on the internet, and she was talking about something, and she was saying I need a community. And from there, I, reached out to a friend, and a friend, and a friend, and a friend, and a friend. And now here I am, a whole entire millionaire. She talked about her money mindset. I don't know. Because I'll tell you, I've met some amazing people online who have stirred me in so many areas of my life. And I stay connected to them. I stay connected to their work, I should say. And I learn from them, and I grab what I can grab in my season, and then I let go of what I can't use. And it's not that everything that they're teaching is not valuable or is not great. It's all good, but each of us can only consume so much from people, and you have to be realistic about where you are on your journey. And these people have been doing work that I'm talking about. They've been doing work. I'm watching them from afar, and they are mentors to me. And I'm like, good job, sis. Keep going. I'm going to use this right here, and I'm going to work on this. I'm going to use that right there. I'm going to work on this. Because for years, I watched one YouTuber. I don't know if y'all ever, if you don't know her YouTube, you should. You will, girl. Stacy Flowers. She's on YouTube. And her work, I want to say 2018, caused me to look inside. And I stopped YouTubing for a little while. And for a while, I stopped YouTubing because when she started to talk about certain things, I was like, girl, you are on my toes. You are on my toes. And it caused me to look inside and start to work on my marriage and start to work on my self-image. And not only her work, but then I ran into other women online that I was like, oh my goodness, girl. So Luvvie is talking the truth, y'all, when she says that we should have a community, we should build a squad, and that we need one another in some way, some capacity. We need one another. And so, yeah, that's something that came up. I don't know if I was not planning to share all of that. However, somebody needs to hear it because I went on a rampage. Let's see. So this last little, I won't say last, this next section that I will share from the book, what resonated with me is ask for more. Because if the fear of disappointment stops you from going for what you want, then you are choosing failure in advance. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we don't think we should ask for the thing we want, whether it's a promotion from our boss or more acts of service from our partner or more attention from our friends, then we are opting for the no instead of trying for a yes. If we get the no, we are still in the same place we were, losing nothing. But what if we get the yes? Which would lead us closer to where we want to be? Of course, the yes. But if you get a no, and that's something that I've learned, is that yes means yes. Well, I'm put my leg down. Yes means yes, and no means no. And it's just that simple. It doesn't mean that you're declined. It doesn't mean that you're denied. If you get a no, it doesn't mean that. There's simply two phrases to say yes and no. That's it. Let the feelings of it go. That's something that I've learned through my journey. It's like, let the feelings behind the words go. Let the connotations of the words go. Yes means yes and no means no. It's not a denial or approval, because even when you get the yes, there's still going to be more things that you have to, there's still going to be more things that you get to navigate. So yes just means yes and no means no. Like, it's not a denial or acceptance type thing. It simply is not that. It's just a yes. It's just like regular words, the and the. One word, two different ways to say it. The, you have of, above, you have she, he, her, it, they. They are just words to describe things. So yes and no, yes and no. That's just it. That's just that simple. And that's something I wanted to share from that, because I was reminded, I was like, man, do you remember when people used to tell you no, Sierra? When people used to tell me no, it was the end of the world. It was the end. I was like, oh, my whole world is crashing. If you've ever seen the movie, Cinderella, I don't remember. It's a childhood movie, Disney movie. And she, She's like, I'm melting. I'm melting. The Wicked Witch, I think it's Wizard of Oz. It's probably not Disney. I probably just butchered that. However, the Wicked Witch I want to say from the Wizard of Oz. I could be wrong there. Somebody can correct me in the comments later on down the line. However, she talked about, she was very dramatic, and that could be me at times. And she was like, I'm melting. That's how I used to feel when people told me no. Until I realized and came to the realization that, yeah, you're going to get a lot of no's in life. Everything is not going to be a yes. And that is simply okay. Learn this in therapy. And I'm so grateful for the therapist I had at the time, because I'm like, man, oh, no is not rejection. No is not denial. No doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. Oh, no is just no. And yes is just yes. That's it. That's it. That's it. So basically, she's saying, like, be okay with the yes and be okay with the no. They are both fine. And then just keep moving. Keep moving. Oh, they said no. Okay, cool. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, y'all, there was this chapter that lit me on fire too about this money mindset, y'all. I was like, you just not gonna let up off us, huh? You just not gonna let up off my neck. You just not get off my neck, okay? But she talked about how women create and work in nonprofits because as nurturers, we say we want to help the world. No, help yourself first, sis, and the world, and then help the world. Put your mask on first and all that jazz. Listen, so this is a new lesson I have learned in my life. And I have to share this because I am a girl who loves God. Absolutely love him. He is amazing. He, she, however you want to say it. But I want to share this because I've learned in church settings that it is always taught to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that is completely true. However, the other part to the equation is that if you don't know how to love you first, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? That is the lesson that I started to learn in 2018, is that I was just giving. Oh, you'll get a car, you get love, you get energy, you get this, you get that. Anyways, don't know where that came from. However, what I wanted to kind of make that a little light, but I am so serious. Beautiful, handsome, whoever you are watching this video, whenever you watch it. You have to love yourself first. You have to get to know yourself first. And you can do them simultaneously. I'm not saying go off in isolation. That is not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that if you don't know yourself and how to love on you, how can you care for someone else? How can you love someone else? How are you going to get married and then think that you're going to be able to be this amazing spouse and you don't even know yourself? A big, huge mistake that I made, which is why I'm speaking with so much compassion and so much conviction. Son, daughter, you must get to know yourself. You have to spend enough time with yourself. People are amazing. Yes, we need community, but however, you got to know you. I know, and I'll share a few things about myself. I know I love ginger. I love like hot, spicy things. I love Thai food. I love Topo Chico, which is an amazing water. I used to be self-conscious of my skin. So guess what? I did something about it. And because I'm doing something about it, I'm less conscious, like self-conscious about it, because I feel more in control because I am doing something about it. I love sweaters. I love all things like warm drinks and stuff. Not so much a coffee fan as I used to be, but I love coffee and I love hot beverages, I should say. I like coffee, not so much love. I love fancy things. You can hear my daughter. If you were to ask my daughter about something that I want, she would tell you, my mom loves fancy things. I love fancy things. I love God. I love children. I love my children. I love my family. If you hear my husband talk about me, he's going to tell you that I completely adore my family. I do. Like I will go to the ends of the earth for my family in the capacity that they allow me to, with the boundaries that I do have set up to protect not only myself, but me and my capacity for my little family of 4, me, my husband, and my 2 kids. And so I will exercise my boundaries. That's one thing about me. I may not be as vocal about them, and that is something that is in progress, but I will exercise my boundaries. I love being outside. Love being outside. I love earrings. I love all shades, styles of earrings. Some new things that I am loving these days are being alone on Sundays, having my alone time, doing what brings me joy, which is being outside, moving my body, and watching church online. And that is something I am loving these days. I love to get my nails done, do my own nails. I love to go to get to the spa to get a massage. That is something one of my friends just introduced me to, and I am loving it these days. I share all those things to say I am not conceited. I still have insecurities. I still have fears. I still have things that I am working on internally. But however, I am confident. And so I share that to say, you must know you. Why am I confident? Because I know myself well enough to know that the things that work for me and the things that do not work for me. I absolutely do not like to be on the telephone with someone and they're talking to people in the background. That bothers me. That is a pet peeve of mine. I do not like it. I do not like when people judge people just because they see them looking a certain way. Oh, she has piercings. Oh, she has her haircut. Oh, she has fingernail polish on. Oh, she wears pants. Oh, she does this. That grinds my gears. I don't like it. I do not like, I'm just throwing some more things out there. I do not like, I do love socks with sandals. That's something that I realize that I have the confession of. I like socks. I don't mind socks with sandals. That's something that's quirky about me. Something else I don't like. I don't like to see people just loners. I don't like to see it. Now, will I always do something about it? No, but it does touch my heart when I see someone not having friends or not being with people. I don't like that bothers me because I'm like, I know we should be in community, but at the same time, I am aware because I have been the person who to try to go rescue those people. And what I realize is that, they're out there by themselves for a reason because you're a complete butthole. And they need some internal work. But does that mean I leave that person there? No. Sometimes I will do something if I have the capacity to do it, and sometimes I will let that person learn and grow. However, I do have compassion and love. It's just from a couple distances. Okay. Let's see. So I share all those things to say that you have to know you beautiful. You have to know yourself, because if you don't know yourself, you will play yourself. If you don't know yourself, because I want to make the responsibility yours and mine, because when we don't know ourselves, we allow other people to play us. They will tell you things about you that you thought that you knew about you. And this is where narcissism thrives. Narcissism thrives when people don't know themselves. Narcissistic people, and you can look up the word, narcissistic people thrive in those types of environments. Because they're like, oh, you don't know yourself, so I can do this, or I can say this. I can make you think that you thought this and you really didn't. I can make you think that you said this and you didn't really say it. Narcissistic people live in those environments. Beautiful. If that's you, I have been there, done that, got the t-shirt to show you. Been there, done that, been the person that was a quote unquote victim of that, because I didn't know myself. I did not know who I was. I did not understand that I have power in my words, in the things that I say, the way that I show up. And you do too. And so I'm going to end on that note, because I am here and I am there and my belly is getting hot and I know what that means for me. So beautiful. You need community. Not only will community help you to get out of situations like that and help you to learn yourself, but you learn best in community. You learn best in community. You learn best in community. I want to invite you to join me in the book chat, and I will put the link in my description of the video. And the book chat is a community to help women to express themselves, to imagine and to discover. Like, you're going to imagine the possibilities of who you are and who you can be and all the things you want to do. You're going to discover who you really are and discover that these are things I didn't know about myself. And then you're also going to be able to be in a safe space to express those things. And what I mean by express is like express through your words, express through your actions, express through your boundaries, express through whatever like art it is that you do, or if you do art or any type of way. I'm an artist, and so there's a way that I express, and so that's where it's easy for me to say that. However, I want to invite you to join me. Not only me, but I will have some friends that are going to join me to talk about books on here on my YouTube channel. We may take it to Instagram. I have an Instagram page for the book chat as well. But I'm still working out some kinks and trying to make sure that what I say I'm going to do, that I have the time commitment to do and the space to be able to share. So I want to leave it on that note. If anything that I'm saying is resonating with you, if you're like, oh, I would love to like be in a book chat with her because how she speaks and how she shares her information, and I don't know what it is that you would say. But I would love to have you. I would love for you to join us. I'm starting to promote this more on my Instagram as well. But I would love to have you. I would love for you to join us. I would love to help you grow. I would love to be on your side as you grow. I would love to show you the ropes and kinks of that I've been through, and share more of my story with you, and also just walk alongside you for where you have questions or you have woes or you like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm here in this position. Can you help me? But also to celebrate with you when you have wins, when you have things that you're like, girl, I exercised the boundary today. Let me share with you. Or you just want to share your journey of where you are right now. And you're like, I'm having an amazing life. I just want to read. I don't necessarily want it to be everybody just, struggling. That is not my desire. I want everybody to be growing at their pace, but I also want them to be realistic, because at certain points in my growth journey, I was not realistic and I bit off too much, y'all. I bit off too much, and it caused a lot of friction and a lot of confusion. And I bumped heads with myself. I bumped heads with my husband. And it was hard to like bounce back from that, but I can share that journey inside of there too. Any books that I've read, I'll be sharing. Everybody, we will have a central, like a book that we will all read together, but then there'll also be a book that, or like books that you can just read on the side by yourself. I don't know. Some people can read 2 books at a time. I do. But not everybody has that capacity, but it will be like stuff I can suggest to you. Even if it's like, I have this book that I read, Ayala's book that I read as well, which was suggested to me by, I am in a, community, and she suggested the book. And so I picked it up and I was like, oh, this is great. I love it. So yeah, that is it for today. Like I said, I would love to have you, if you are a woman and you want a community to grow in, you want to imagine, discover, and express yourself in a much more authentic way. If you want to read books along the way, and then also hear a little bit of my story and be in community with other women. I will say this, my community or another community, you need community. If it's mine, great. I would love to have you. If it's not mine, I just want to say you need a community. You need to be in someone's community. You need a group of people to grow with you. You need a group of people to show you and say to you, hey, beautiful, you have more potential, or hey, beautiful, there's something else that you could be doing, or you need to get out of that relationship, or just people who can see you and love on you and teach you more about yourself in a very safe, thriving, and productive community. Not so much productive around like work, but like, it's like your work is going to show you like all work works. Like situations are happening. It may not feel good, but it's working for you in some capacity. So that is it for today. I have had some fun on today. Anyways, all right. I will talk to y'all very soon. I may be back on here talking about this book. I may have my friends on here with me next time. We may be chatting about the same book or another book. I'm not really sure yet, so you want to stay tuned.